In a time when Dharma was fading, when darkness ruled the lands, a divine prince was born, not just to rule, but to restore balance. This is the epic journey of Lord Rama, from his birth to his battles, from exile to enlightenment. On this Ram Navami, we bring you a story like no other. Long ago, in the sacred city of Ayodhya, ruled by the wise king Dashrath, peace reigned and prosperity flourished. But within the palace walls, there was a quiet longing. The king had no heir. Years passed in prayer and penance until the gods took notice. Through the sacred Putra Kameshti Yajna, the divine fire yielded a bowl of celestial nectar, sweet gift from the heavens. The nectar was shared among the king's queens, and soon the kingdom was blessed with 4 sons. Ram, born to Queen Kaushalya, Bharata to Kaikeyi, and Lakshman and Shatrughan to Sumitra. But from the moment Ram was born, on the 9th day of Chaitra, the air seemed to shift. Flowers bloomed out of season, sages felt a divine presence, and celestial drums echoed in the skies. Ram was no ordinary child. He was Vishnu incarnate, born to restore Dharma to a crumbling world. As he grew, Ram's strength, humility, and righteousness captivated Ayodhya. He broke the bow of Lord Shiva to win the hand of Sita, daughter of King Janak, a union destined by the stars. But just as he was to be crowned king, a twist of fate, driven by palace politics and a mother's manipulation, banished Ram to the forest for 14 years. And so began a journey not of exile, but of destiny. Ram exchanged the crown for tree bark, royal robes for deerskin, and palaces for wild forests. Sita, glowing with quiet strength, and Lakshman, steadfast as ever, followed him into exile without hesitation. Their first stop, Chitrakoot, where they built a simple hut and began their life amidst rivers and trees. It was here that Bharat, horrified by his mother's actions, arrived with a plea for Ram to return. But Ram, bound by Dharma, refused. Instead, Bharat placed Ram's sandals on the throne, vowing to rule as his representative until his return. As they journeyed deeper into the forest, they met sages, battled demons, and became symbols of justice in the wild. But evil was not far. In the early days of exile, Ram met many great rishis and sages, Atri, Anasuya, Agastya, and others, who blessed him and shared spiritual wisdom. These sages lived in the wild, far from society, preserving Dharma with their austerities. They foretold Ram's destiny, to defeat the forces of evil, especially the rising menace of Ravan's army of malevolent beings who were tormenting the holy men. In their travels, Ram and Lakshman defended sages from fierce demons. One notable battle was against Virata, a powerful demon who had kidnapped Sita. Ram and Lakshman struck him down, bringing peace to that region of the forest. Then came Shurpanakha, Ravan's sister, who was enchanted by Ram's beauty. When he rejected her advances, and Lakshman cut off her nose to stop her aggression, she ran screaming to her brothers, Kara, Dushana, and finally, Ravan, planting the seeds of war. To avenge her, Kara and Dushana led an army of 14,000 demons. In a breathtaking display of divine strength, Ram single-handedly defeated them all in battle. Lightning-fast arrows, divine weapons, and unmatched valor. As the exile progressed, the trio moved deeper into the forest, settling in Panchvati, near the banks of the Godavari River. There, under the trees and stars, they built a simple hut and lived in peace. But darkness crept near. One day, a beautiful golden deer appeared, captivating Sita with its charm. It was, in truth, the demon named Marich, disguised to lure Ram away. Sita, entranced, asked Ram to capture the golden deer for her. Ram chased it, and just before it died, the deer cried out in Ram's voice, tricking Sita into believing that he was in danger. Panicked, Sita urged Lakshman to go help, though he was hesitant. Before leaving, he drew the Lakshman Rekha, a protective line around the hut, warning Sita not to cross it. Moments later, an old sage appeared at the door. Ravan in disguise. Sita, ever kind and noble, stepped across the line to offer him food, unknowingly breaking the protection. In an instant, Ravan revealed his form, seized her, and flew toward Lanka in his Pushpak Viman. As Ravan flew across the skies, the noble vulture Jatayu, a guardian spirit and old friend of Ram's father, saw the abduction. Brave and aged, he rose into the air and fought Ravan with everything he had. Though no match for the mighty demon king, Jatayu fought valiantly, until Ravan cruelly slashed his wings and left him to fall. Later, Ram and Lakshman found Jatayu bleeding and broken. With his last breath, he told them of Sita's abduction and the direction Ravan had gone. Ram wept, holding the noble bird in his arms, and performed his final rites like a son would for a father. As Ram continued his search for Sita, he encountered Shabri, an old tribal woman who had waited years for his arrival. Every day she gathered sweet berries for him. When Ram arrived, she offered them, first tasting each one to ensure it was sweet. Though this act might seem improper, Ram smiled and accepted them joyfully, saying her love made them sweeter than nectar. Her simple faith moved even the gods. This phase of exile wasn't just a retreat from the world. It was Ram's transformation from prince to hero, and eventually to a divine warrior. With every step through the forest, he defeated ego, tested love, upheld truth, and brought Dharma into the darkest corners of the land. The exile carved the legend of Ram, not by comfort, but by trial. After bidding farewell to Shabri, Ram's search for Sita led him to the mountains of Rishyamukh, where he met Hanuman, the monkey warrior with divine strength and a heart full of devotion. This meeting wasn't coincidence. It was destiny. Hanuman introduced Ram to Sugriv, the exiled monkey king. Ram, in turn, helped Sugriv defeat his tyrannical brother Vali, restoring him to the throne of Kishkinda. In return, Sugriv vowed to help find Sita. The search began. Scouts were sent in all directions, but it was Hanuman who would rise above all. Guided by a clue from the dying Jatayu and the words of the demoness Sampati, Hanuman leaped across the ocean to Lanka, a journey only the son of the wind could make. In Lanka, Hanuman found Sita imprisoned in the lush gardens of Ashok Vatika, guarded by demons, but unbroken in spirit. He gave her Ram's ring as proof of hope, burned Lanka with his fiery tail, and returned with her whereabouts. And now, it was time for war. The monkey army built the legendary Ram Setu, a bridge of floating stones etched with Ram's name, stretching across the ocean to Lanka. What followed was one of the greatest wars ever told. Lanka, draped in gold and darkness, saw the armies of good and evil clash. Ram, riding at the front with his bow, led his warriors. Hanuman, Angad, Sugriv, Jambavan. On the other side stood Ravan and his formidable warriors, Indrajit, Kumbhakarna, and legions of demons. Day after day, the battles grew fiercer. Indrajit vanished into the skies and wounded Lakshman with a divine spear. It was Hanuman, again, who flew to the Himalayas and carried the entire Dronagiri mountain, delivering the healing herb Sanjeevani to save Lakshman's life. Kumbhakarna, the sleeping giant, was awakened and charged into battle like a walking mountain, only to fall to Ram's divine arrows. And finally, Ram faced Ravan. It was a battle of cosmic scale. Ravan had 10 heads, each representing different vices in the Demon King. With every arrow, Ram struck at evil itself. And when the final arrow, a Brahmastra, pierced Ravan's heart, the earth exhaled. The noble Ram ensured Ravan was honored, for even the enemy had once been a great devotee of Lord Shiv. With Ravan defeated and Sita freed, Ram's 14-year exile came to an end. As Ram returned to Ayodhya, the people lit countless lamps to welcome him home, an event celebrated to this day as Diwali. The entire kingdom rejoiced. Bharat, true to his word, placed the sandals aside and offered the throne back to its rightful king. Thus began the golden age of Ram Rajya, an era of truth, justice, compassion, and prosperity. The citizens were happy, the rivers flowed clear, and even nature itself seemed in harmony. Though Ram's earthly journey was filled with challenges, betrayals, and heartbreak, he never strayed from Dharma. He ruled not as a king, but as a guardian of cosmic order. Ram Navami celebrates not just Ram's birth, but the birth of hope, the triumph of light, and the power of virtue in a world that often forgets it. Every year on this very date, devotees across India and beyond sing praises of Ram's virtues and recount the tales of his bravery, compassion, and unwavering truth. In Ayodhya, the city comes alive in ways no words can fully capture. Giant processions move through the streets with effigies and actors enacting scenes from the Ramayana. The chants of Jai Shree Ram echo through the land, as if calling back to that very moment when divinity walked the earth. And at homes, lamps are lit, and stories of Ram's life are read aloud, passing on the light of Dharma from one generation to the next. Ram Navami is a reminder that whenever darkness rises, light will be born again. That in times of chaos, righteousness finds a way, and that the divine sometimes walks among us in human form, guiding us back to the path of truth. Which of these legendary anecdotes fascinate you the most? Let us know in the comments, and do not forget to like and subscribe Mythpaws for more such magical journeys.